Hey everyone! I've got some junk journals I wanted to share with you. I just love making them with vintage books, and I've been picking up some really pretty ones lately at the thrift stores and the library book sales. And once I end up making them, I am just so in love with them that I keep them. But these I have made and listed in my Etsy shop. So if you're interested, the link is down below. So I'm going to flip through the four of them quickly just so you can have an idea of what I did. So this little cutie is about 5 by 7.5, and it's a vintage book of garden flowers. It's called the ABC Guide to Garden Flowers. I forget what year it is, but it's a fairly old copy. It had this really pretty little image on it. And the book was in relatively great condition, so I didn't have to do much to the cover. I simply decorated it with some of this cotton lace here, and I added a black little scallop edge on the front and back. So this one has 3 signatures, and it's about 1 inch thick. So I like starting off my books with a pocket and a tag, just in case the person wants to give this as a gift and write a little note, or to stamp the title of what the purpose of the book's going to be, or something like that. And with this one, I ended up doing some coffee staining after I had bound the book. That's one way that I do enjoy doing the coffee staining. Alright, so I'm just going to flip through it. I basically added some tags and did, like I said, some coffee staining. Added a doily there, a little paper bag, and I also added some of the original pages from the book with these beautiful flower images and details, information. I made these side tuck spots as well. And I love using staples in my books, and I had done that in a lot of them in the past. And just last week, Rachel of Jazzy Creations reminded me of how, you can use staples in your books, and she did some kind of little detail similar to this, so I thought I would do that in these. Another tuck spot. Envelope. This is the bottom of the bag that I opened up so that you can use it on this side as well. A glassine bag, and I punched a heart out of it. There's a lot of journaling space, writing space. It would be a great book for a gardener to keep a diary, or for anybody who likes flowers and nature. This is another envelope, and I opened up the bottom. Another tuck spot. This one here is also 5 by 7.5, the same size as the gardening one. And it's a cover from a copy of girls' novel type collection. It was the Whitman novels for girls, and this one's called The Charmed Circle, and I think it was a 1962 copy, and I just absolutely fell in love with this cover. And again, I didn't need to do much to it. I simply added a clear seal on it just to protect the image a little bit. And I added again the scalloped trim and a little bow made out of seam binding that I sprayed with Delusions. This too is an inch thick, and it's got 3 signatures that have about 9 pages or so. And again, I have the little bag with a tag. And these pages are all coffee dyed in the oven this time. I used pattern paper and graph paper and just photocopy paper as well. And I've got the same side doily tuck spots here. I used some of the original pages from the novel. Also the side tuck spots here, and I punched a little heart. And this would be a nice journal for a teenager or for yourself. I mean, it's very feminine and a lot of blank space. You could add photos in here or writing, or you could do a little bit of a glue book. You could do anything. I like to reinforce with washi tape when I'm using the original book pages, especially if they tear out a little funny. I don't want them to fall out later, so I add the washi tape. It helps to strengthen the page. The coffee staining is just so nice on pattern paper. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you do. It just gives it such a nice vintage feel. And another thing that I like doing is distressing the edge of my pages. It really makes the book look vintage. Okay, now we're getting into a couple of chunkier ones. These last two that I'm going to show you have 5 signatures. This one is also about 5 by 7. The spine is about 1.25 inches. And it's probably one of my favorites that I've made so far. I just love all the colors. I love the idea of the book, How to Entertain at Home. This would be a great gift for someone who likes to have, you know, to entertain and to have dinners at home. It'd be great to store recipes in, or party plans, or things like that. The cover was in relatively rough shape, so I had to do some rebuilding. The spine had some tearing, so I rebuilt it from the inside to add some strength to the spine. Did some gluing and a lot of sealing, and it turned out just really nicely. What you have to remember with these vintage books is there always will be some imperfections. I mean, these books are vintage. This is a 1927 edition of this book. And so there are water stains and discoloration, but that just really adds to the character. I added some corners on this one. The corners of the cover were a little bit torn, and I thought this would really dress up the entire book and really went well with the gold color here. And then I added a bow in this golden color as well. So as you can see, I added some of that paper lace trim that I do like for my own books. I did that for each signature. This one here, I didn't add a pocket on the front. I just have a little flower there instead. And these are all coffee stained, and they also have these side tuck spots. I added some little sentiments. More tuck spots. Little heart cutouts. Okay, and this last one here is my favorite. And I'm going to be sad when this one has to go, but I'm sure it'll be going to a good home. It's called Queen of France, and it's all about Marie Antoinette. And so I used a lot of pretty papers and did a lot of coffee staining and stuff, and added some Marie Antoinette images as well. I put this little crown charm here with a pearl on the top. And this book had a lot of discoloration in that it was originally a grayish color on the front and back, and the spine had yellowed quite a bit. And so I used some ink stains and distress ink pads and managed to match the spine to the front and back. So I was really happy with the result. And then I also did that lace trim all along in all the signatures. And this one's about 5.5 by 8.5, so it's a good size. And the spine is about 1.25 inches. Okay, so here we go. I've got a little bag here with a nice Marie Antoinette image. And a lot of the same types of tuck spots throughout. So wherever I had the lace trim, I added a side tuck spot. Same oven coffee stained paper method. I've got little butterflies with bling here. Lots of journaling space in this one as well. If you don't like writing, you could do some collaging in here or add photos. And for the closure, I've got some seam binding that I also sprayed and a little bead spacer here just to decorate the hole that I punched through the covers. So those are my books, and they are ready and listed on Etsy. If you have any questions, you just let me know. And I thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.